Hey, it's DocHoliday, and wanted to show this Watcher fight from another perspective. So I've got another video posted that is from a Warden tank perspective. This is actually from my captain's perspective. So you get to see this fight from a little bit different view, and basically get to see how this works, from a different angle. But this is the same group that's in the Warden video. We just all switched classes. So we went through and did a number of raids off the start, and then switch characters such that we could go off and run them again. So the way this fight works, you'll get to see this from the beginning here. So Watcher pops his head out, he shakes with anger, and basically what he does is he targets a random player in the group and does this massive attack on that one player. So that's why we all grouped up, was such that it didn't matter who we picked, we were all in that same area. And then you all run to the right, you just pick a side, and most folks go right just for some reason, I don't know, but you then go back, burn down one tentacle, and then go ahead and work on the second one. Now, depending on how much DPS you have and how lucky you get, sometimes you can burn them both down before he does another scream. In this case, we did. So now once he does that, you move on to phase 2. And phase 2, he goes through, pulls down the bridge, and he then will go through and summon these strangling tentacles, which happened to grab me, so I'm now dangling. I can't do anything, but basically I can only be released by killing that tentacle. So whoever's strangled, usually that's one of the things you'll hear people yell about is, hey, so and so strangled. If you get strangled, another good thing to do is to say your name, not just say, hey, I'm strangled, but say, whatever your name is, I'm strangling, or tank strangling, or minster, whatever it is, such that people can identify and keep up with who it is that's strangling. So the way that this phase works, this is phase 2, and essentially you have to burn down both of these massive tentacles. And as you're doing this, stranglers will appear, so you have to be conscious of those. And you also have to be conscious of the 2 sharks that are swimming around in the back there. So basically they keep a constant perimeter, and if you hit by one of those, it's pretty much a one-shot, and bad things will happen. So again, trying to keep yourself in range. The other thing that happens is once you kill these 2 tentacles, a number of crushing tentacles will spawn, and you basically end up having a massive amount of new mobs that are in the area. So one of the things that most groups will do is they'll kill the first one, then they'll bring the second one down very low, and then group up, wait for another strangling to pop before they go ahead and release the massive tentacles. And bring out these crushing guys. So now once these crushings go off, this is where you'll have your captains and your minstrels basically blow all of their cooldowns. You want your champs and everyone doing as much AoE damage as they possibly can. And in this case, you really want to have everyone trying to do as much damage. You want people also, the squishies, to be out of the area because they do a lot of damage. But for the most part, you want to be able to make sure you keep those 2 alive. Now in this case, we are actually, again, doing a similar mechanism where we are doing cross-tanking of these 2 tentacles. Basically what ends up happening is if you're within melee range and have aggro on the tentacles, bad things happen to you. So what we end up wanting to do is keep aggro on them, but from a range. It's much easier to do this when you have when you do it with hunters. In this case, we're doing it with champs. Actually, it worked out pretty well. One of the things you may have noticed was our tank in the back there was strangled. That's really a bad thing. I got lucky enough when I was tanking this on the previous run where I was dangled as my tank at the end. So it didn't really cause that much of a problem. But so now, in this case, the way this fight works is we now are burning down these tentacles. And basically what we'll do is we'll burn down the left tentacle and go ahead and burn it all the way down. We'll then shift over to the right one, bring the right one down almost to the end until it's almost dead. Wait for the left one to, and then switch off of him to the head, do DPS on him, and basically then wait for the left one to pop. And again, these are all on timers, and just keep on repeating that. So we'll go back and forth between left and right, and then we'll go ahead and switch off and do things like that. Now again, you will notice kind of standing on this little bit of a ledge here. And basically that ledge is, it's kind of a boundary of this massive AoE attack that the Watcher does that if you're on top of that ledge, you won't get hit by it. If you're inside of that, you will get hit by it. So that causes a problem. So that text that came up that said the next shaking tentacle was up. So now we're going to go off and we're going to go ahead and burn down the right one. And go ahead and kill that one. And we will then switch over and burn down the left one. Again, just trying to get it down. We're not trying to finish it off, but just get it down enough damage such that we can go ahead and do that. I usually, when I'm on my captain, I will switch back and forth to go ahead and do attacks, as well as be able to share various different attack buffs that I have with the rest of the group. So, we're going through and working on this. This fight, for the most part, really is a matter of watching what you're doing, paying attention, and really following directions. If you can go through and do those kinds of things, there is some randomness to it, and things can go crazy. But for the most part, as long as you go through and do things right, the biggest problem that you run into is people getting aggro when they're not supposed to. That's just the biggest problem that you will run into. If the wrong person gets aggro of certain mobs, it's just really bad, and it causes a whole lot of problems. Because most of these mobs have different damage sets when you're in melee range versus in range. So you need to be very conscious of that, and just need to be understanding of it. The other thing you have to watch out for are the corruptions. So those are the blue and red icons that pop up under the Watcher. The blue ones are not that big of a deal. It was basically a ranged corruption, so if he does a ranged attack, which he won't do because he's never really in range of anybody, he's always on in range of the tank, that can cause problems. But the other ones are melee range, which, as you can imagine, is potentially very bad. So you just need to keep tabs on those and be on the lookout. Again, we are running into some issues here where one of our guys has gotten stuck back in the back there by one of the crushing tentacles. Now, he's smart enough to move out of the way of the shark such that he doesn't get completely owned, but basically was able to get rid of that one tentacle there and then get back up and join the rest of the group. So you need to be careful of that. If you do get punted, like I'm getting punted right here again, just watch out for that shark and make sure you don't get hit by him. It's just causes all sorts of badness to happen. So need to keep track of that. And really, again, you just need to be conscious of, okay, what am I supposed to be hitting? Look around, look at the target assist that you have up top there to make sure that you are on the right target and that you are, again, do what you're supposed to do. And of course, you always want to be conscious of the strangling tentacles. Make sure if they get on one of the healers, that's always bad. So we need to go ahead and not get that off of him. But for the most part, if anyone's strangled, it's not good. So you want to go ahead and pull them up and get that off of them, because it just ends up causing a problem, whether it's DPS or support or whatever it may be. It'll cause problems. So keep people unstrangled and undangled, and just keep doing what your role is supposed to be. And you'll move side to side, back and forth, and just keep moving around and attacking one of the two tentacles, the stranglings, and the head. At some point, usually you will then start to go all out on the Watcher. And we got really pretty lucky in this one, in that our tokens ran out just as we had killed them. So that was what that dread was at the end there. But hope you enjoyed it, and there'll be more videos coming up soon.